Yo guys, what's going on? Happy, what is it, Wednesday? Something like that. I've lost count. Anyway, happy June to the moon, man. We're going to take a look here in this episode at Doge, AMC, anything meme. We're going to go meme today. We're also going to take a peek at Bitcoin here, and we're going to see what the chart is telling us about each of these investments. It's good to have you guys here. We don't have a lot of viewers. I don't know what's going on. The last 2-3 days have been really slow, but it'll pick up. More people. This happened last time. So I'll give you a second to settle in, guys. Thanks for joining us. Let's do these first. If you haven't smashed that like button for the new stream, please smash that like. It helps encourage YouTube to give visibility to our streams, and hopefully we'll get more eyes in here. 41 watching. Kind of similar start to yesterday. Discord. Yesterday we had some issues with Discord. Jump in there. Links in the chat. It's also in the pinned message. Jump in before the bots get in. Good to have you guys. Last but not least, Patron. Wonderful value to sign up for Patron today. Don't wait till the end of the month. End of the month, you really just burn in your time. You don't get as good of a value. Who's Patron for? What is it? Patron is for all experienced all levels of experience of traders. And it is our private group. Comes with daily publishes of technical analysis, trade setups, macro market insights, as well as small group educational seminar Q&A with myself, and for our VIP memberships, one-on-one crypto mentoring. So help me help you achieve your trading dreams. All right, cool. So shill's out of the way. Let's take a look at these charts. I think we're going to start with Doge, unless anybody has objection to that. We have been following the Doge. You guys know I was a Doge guy for years. It wasn't a huge investment for me, but I always had some. Why? Well, Doge is proof of work. It is decentralized, though its supply, you'll hear people say it's not decentralized. It is. Its supply is more centralized than other proof of work coins. However, does not change its network. Its network is decentralized, so it is just essentially Bitcoin. It is what we want. It is what it's what we're here for. Its code is about 99.9% exactly the same. There's no difference. And for me, this fits all my criteria: proof of work, long chain history, lots of candles to chart. And so Doge has been one of my favorites. And it's been very lucrative this year. Never in my life saw this coming. Never in my life saw this coming when I purchased Doge for the first time. So cheers to anyone who hopped on that train at some point. So we're seeing a little movement. Finally, a little movement here in the crypto space. And for those of you joining, welcome. Don't forget to smash that like button. Smash it. Subscribe. We're here live every day. We want you to be here. We are going to look at AMC after Doge. So if you're here for the stocks, don't worry. Taking a look at Doge's monthly chart. This looks like the wrong chart. Oh well, we're going to go with it. Fact here for you guys. Doge, I'm scrolling through these because I'm looking for a calculated by trading view chart for Doge here. Why? Well, because Doge traded long before USDT became popular. Now, it's hard to imagine now in this day and age where that is really the majority of the volume. I can't find it for some reason. It's because I typed in... I can't find it for some reason, but so that means that lots of its chart history can only be found traded against Bitcoin directly. That'd be the Doge BTC pair. We're going to be charting the Doge USD today because I know that's what everyone's interested in. Where is it, Trading View? Why are you hiding this from me? What are you doing? This was absolutely a thing. Bittrex Tether. No, I want Bittrex Tether calculated by Trading View. Where is it? There's Binance, but that's not right either. Anyway, while I struggle bus here, some Doge news. I'm sure everyone's aware by now, but why not? Coinbase Pro accepting deposits, or has stated their intent earlier last month, and now opening up deposits here, at least in the next few days, if it hasn't started already. And they plan on opening up the order books, starting trading Coinbase Pro Doge. Soon. I'm not sure if they gave a specific date. I think it's once they have sufficient liquidity, meaning enough Doge has been deposited to the exchange to have safe trading. I don't know why I can't find this. I guess we're just going to have to live with it. We'll just stick with our original. We'll stick with our original. So this actually spells some interesting stuff. The chart may or may not show us deposits to Coinbase. What does this mean? Well, people are sending their Doge to Coinbase in preparation of trading to begin there. And so what that means is we are actually going to have some kind of locked event supply, at least from today or yesterday, day before when they announced it, to when trading begins. These coins are going to be deposited on the exchange and used as liquidity. However, until trading starts, they'll essentially be frozen. So this could be a positive. This could have a positive impact on Doge's price here. And I think maybe we're seeing that today. I got some alerts last night from Doge. And today we got some green. So let's take a look deeper. On the monthly, we really don't see many values. This isn't the chart I wanted, but this is Doge. It's on Binance. I wanted Bittrex. I still don't know why I can't find it. On the monthly, we see down below in our consolidation period from 2019 to 2020, the end of the year, a long period of monthly consolidation suggesting about 0.05 cent support. Now, that's not likely to be a huge player here today. We have a more important value. I'm actually going to take this from down here. Yeah, that looks better. We have a monthly support that is local to price. So this is an area that may be a high value for those of you looking for Doge. Not yet entered, looking for it. 32.6 cents. We see last month traded higher intramonth, traded lower, settled up as a doji at that exact 32.6 cents. This month opening at that level, trading higher, likely to act as support at least in the short term. So we're going to zoom in a little more, as the monthly is not going to have too much for us here because we're on this silly Binance chart. The weekly suggesting a little lower here at 30 cents. I think this level is likely the one that a lot of people are looking at. From the weekly closes here, and really that lines up pretty well with the monthly 32.6. So I think that's going to be a solid range. I'm going to put a rectangle here. This is likely to be a strong support zone locally, and the weekly giving us two more values, actually more than that. Down below, we see 7.8 cents, untested, was resistance back in February, broke through on the weekly, never came back to test it. So this could be actually an even higher value. This would be a very, potentially a very strong trade could be taken from that 7.8 cent level. You could look a little lower to the 0.05 cent level. We see multiple candles closing above, but really my eyes are going to be on that 7.8. In the outlier event that we see selling, that brings us to that level. I'm not convinced. We're seeing higher lows, we're seeing weekly supports being built, and now we're seeing a drive to the upside here on Doge. I welcome it. We have early mid-April 25 cent. Man, this chart is actually pretty clean. We have 25 cents, 30 cents as support. And then farther down below, we have that 7 range. Above us, there's not that much. 57.13 cents. This is why, guys, we don't always do a Doge special. We're doing Doge special today because something's going on here. I think it is related to that Coinbase listing, to the Coinbase deposits. That's drying up supply, available supply that could be sold at market. And that may be a good explanation as to what's going on here with the price. So let's zoom into the daily. We're seeing these levels. Yep. Pretty respected, untested support as we saw in the weekly. 25 cents was tested here, and then, yeah, 30. So this chart's actually looking pretty good. It's definitely looking better than Bitcoin, which we'll get to later in the episode. By the way, there will be timestamps after this show. So if you miss part of the stream or want to see it later, should be pretty easy to navigate and find it. 57.1 cents above. Here we are. Here we are, man. This chart's looking so decent. I said it yesterday, I wish Bitcoin looked like this. So here's where my alert went off. Here's why I got a little interest and decided to do the episode today. 39 cents on the daily. We can see this level is has been interacted with a lot in May. It was resistance here in early May. It was support mid-May. Then it was resistance at the end of May twice. And now we're finally looking finally looking to push back above here in this daily candle. Yesterday is being rejected by that resistance, trading up to a pretty strong 46 cents. Now, we look through the monthly, we look through the weekly, we don't really see much that may suggest resistance here. So there might be an invisible force at work. What invisible force might that be? Well, let's take a look at our Fibonacci retracement level. Our 618. I didn't actually know this, just found this out with you guys right now. Our 618, our golden retrace. This is considered a likely area of reversal. It is a retracement level that we always look for. Sitting right here at 45 cents. We can see that today, intraday, we did trade up to that. We found sellers, and now we're seemingly ranging in between that 45 cent level and that 39.1 cent level. What I would like to see here on Doge is a daily close above 45.2 cents. Close above the 618 and you're looking for higher. We can see the 786 above. This is the deep or the deepest retracement level, 786, sitting at 57.1 cents, right on top of that resistance we identified on a larger time frame. So that's a highly probable area to be looking. In the event you get that close over 45 cents, 57.1 cents is the next logical target. It lines up, I think that might have been a monthly. Either way, it lines up with our higher time frame price points, and it is our deepest retrace. Typically, when you see retracements this deep, that is an acknowledgement of the market that retracement is ending. That's not a set in stone fact, but in general, we do see that happen. So that would be pretty darn bullish to see Doge trade up to there. Let's adjust this trend line. Really don't even need this trend line right now, as it doesn't seem too interested in testing it. However, we do see that our trend line and our support zone over here do line up on about the 20th of June. So keep my eyes peeled. If I was an active Doge trader, which I technically am, actually, I opened and closed positions on Doge this week. Fun fact. However, I do want to give a little bit of a warning. This chart looks great. I do want to give a little warning here. Similar to ADA. If you guys remember when ADA was listed on Coinbase, everyone was ecstatic. Everybody was head over heels about it, hyping it up. And if you were a longtime watcher of the stream, you'll remember I was probably one of the only people actively saying, be careful. Be careful with this. Why? I have concerns for Doge about this as well. Because similar to ADA, Doge has been traded on multiple exchanges for years. That's the scenario ADA was in before its listing. And that's what made me skeptical. The reason being is, well, buyers have had an opportunity to buy it. Typically on Coinbase, when you see something listed that hasn't been traded, it can be a great opportunity to look for a long, to lock in some profit or scalp. But when it's not a new listing like ADA was, and ADA looks great right now, looks phenomenal, but on listing, it was not the event that we were looking for, or I guess the public was looking for. And in general, crypto, that does ring true. If everyone is hyping up a set in stone date, typically that date does not play out the way that people are expecting. Typically. So a little warning here, this may be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. We may see rallying into when Coinbase does start trading. And we're seeing that potentially right here. On the daily, we see the 20 moving average and the 50 moving average. They probably actually are bearishly crossing on this candle. Let me zoom in. Or let me bring these to the front here. Yep, they do. They are bearishly crossing. The 50 moving average, the yellow here, the longer, the bigger moving average, trending up with the 20, the shorter moving average, crossing from above down below. This is a bearish signal. However, you guys know we've had some pretty interesting calls based on these crosses before, and we don't always trust them. This daily candle came literally perfect. Whether this is manipulation or the natural flow of markets and charts, I don't know. But it does seem as if it is going to reject that bearish cross. Now, what this tells us is today's close on Doge USD, looking for that a close above 39.1 cents. Yes, 45 would be ideal, but a close above 39.1 is going to set us up. It's going to set us up to continue to the upside and price exploration. And most importantly, it'll close above that bearish cross. Typically, when we see this happen, we can consider, or at least begin aiming our gaze at a rejection of that bearish signal. So literally the day they cross, I saw this yesterday. I was getting a little excited when 39.1 cent broke. But for today's daily to close above this bearish cross would be excellent. Be an excellent sign. It would likely affirm my suspicions that we're going to see a rally into Coinbase actually beginning trading. I am skeptical once it does, so be careful. Don't get burned. But that's looking pretty darn good. On the daily, we see selling momentum. These red bars here have waned off since the 23rd of May, just after, I guess, well, yeah, the price crash on Bitcoin. Today, finally reclaiming bullish buying pressure here. We can see that with this blue candle popping up. What we'd like to see into the future is a series of taller and taller candles, and that would suggest to us that momentum is not just positive, but also increasing. So we can see something similar here. That's what we're looking for. The goal on that momentum here, this is the MACD indicator, and on its histogram, this is something I love to use. We're going to look for a larger momentum swing to the upside versus April. If Doge can accomplish that, $1 is easily in sight. Easily in sight. It already traded up past our 69-cent target. We almost called the local top there, showing there's no lack of buyers for this market, at least for Doge at the moment. So $1 really not that crazy. It might seem crazy here as it's only trading at 40 cents. That's what, 2.5x. That's really not that crazy for crypto. But with this momentum flipping to the buying side, the rejection of this bearish signal here, this death cross. I hate those words. Death cross, golden cross. They're so emotional. I hate them. This is set up. This is set up for some interesting moves. So if we look back to our Fibonacci retracement tool that we use to identify that 45-cent level, we can also use this to extrapolate targets to the upside. So let's look at what it's suggesting. Typically, we look at the 1618, and now that's hovering at $1.71. That is, or $1.76. That's pretty high. And almost always, we look for that 2. The 2 Fibonacci extension. This is a great tool for price discovery. When you don't have really any other tools to go by, this one tends to be pretty clutch. And in price discovery, you really do lack tools. You really do. There's not going to be moving averages. There's not going to be support. You're trading in new territory, and so you need to use the appropriate tools. $1.76 and $3. That sounds wild to me. After Doge's run, that's really that's a big ask, I think. That's almost a 10x from here after already going, I don't know, 1,000x or something like that. Our 1272. Now, we don't use this a lot. It's not really an extension level that we always look for or anything, but that's sitting at about $1.10. I think that's a much more reasonable short-term target if we do see 76 cents broken. That'd be absolutely the first upside target. It aligns with that dollar mindset that people have, that number they're looking for. And so it makes sense. Now there is, despite I'm thinking this is going to continue to the upside today, it's going to have a healthy close. There is always that possibility of downside. So where would we look? Well, a close under 39.1 cents, as we said, below this cross, a rejection of this level with a wick on top that large on a daily candle would be pretty threatening. I think that would push you back down to the support zone here that we identified earlier in the episode at 30 to 32 cents. If that holds, really nothing has changed. You're likely to see an attempt at those resistances again. If it doesn't, 25 cents below, and you really don't want to lose that level on the daily. 25 cents is going to be a really important level to hold here for the Doge bulls. You can see on the 4-hour here, really nice back test to that 39.1 cents. Very nice. Wicked, bought up. Not a lot of momentum from it, but something important to note here on the 4-hour is these red candles, this profit taking, this selling, not very strong. If you look to the left, even the most recent green candle is larger than all 3 of the bodies of these red candles here. This is potentially setting up, and this would line up well with a daily close above the 20. This is potentially setting up for a pattern called 3 rising methods. And so that would be a large-bodied green candle followed by 3 small-bodied red candles, and then an engulfing large green candle to continue the rally. That would line up really well. Doesn't have to necessarily look like this, but that I'm definitely going to keep my eye on here. So looking for a break of 45 cents, I think is a good wrap-up. Good wrap-up to Doge. Looking for 45 cents, hoping to close above 39.1. And closing below, well, now we're going to get a little sketchier, but things are still looking pretty decent here. This coin blown past all expectations. All expectations, man. It's pretty insane. Crypto's wild. You can see as soon as this descending high trend broke two days ago on the 31st of May, as soon as it broke, 3 days of green. TA being respected there, so awesome Doge. We're going to, let's peek at this. This is our old chart, showing us pretty similar info. We're not going to spend time on that. AMC. What a wild ride, AMC. Opened trading today. This is a stock, guys. This is a stock. Open trading at 37.5. Closed the day a 95.2% candle. Volume could be better, but it's pretty decent. Could be better. But at 100% daily candle, essentially, this is wild. Throughout my entire crypto history career, people have told me as crypto matures, it's going to calm down. It's going to act more like a stock, more like a commodity. You're going to see less volatility, less gains to the upside, less losses to the downside. But what's really, really interesting is we're seemingly seeing the opposite. Stocks are starting to act more like crypto. AMC closing 100% daily candle, opened at $35, traded all the way up to 72 before closing at 62.55. Freaking insane here. Your RSI is up in the clouds, but you have a little room to run if AMC doesn't continue to push. Here, you are at risk of bearish divergence on your RSI on your daily here, and that's pretty clear to see right here. Let's look at this RSI high that was in January. We can see that despite reaching much higher highs, 70, 80, whatever dollars, you have not put in a higher RSI high. So if we see selling into tomorrow or into the rest of the week, and we see RSI come down, we may have seen some kind of blow off top. Now, we don't have signs of that yet. This chart looks, I mean, it closed 100% daily. Can't look bad. But we're going to need to push past that 96.61 RSI level on the daily. It's going to be very important to the health of, to continue this rally. Something we didn't do last time I looked at this was peek at our extensions. So our 618 would have suggested 46.99. Not bad. But our two, this is the one we look for. We call this the measured move. Our 2 is sitting at $78.81. That is extremely close to where today traded. Extremely close, within 10%. Continuing to push towards that target may be enough to get us that higher RSI high. It very well could be. That would be actually really excellent if that was all it needed. Let's zoom out here on AMC. So this is something that's a little interesting. AMC has a strange chart. It's been traded since 2014. We can see a clear resistance at $36 here on the monthly. That dates all the way back to 2015-ish. And this month, 2 days. It only took 2 days this month. Broke through. Pretty wild. That's a major point. Major inflection point. Simply retaking this level is amazing for AMC. Now, what wouldn't surprise me here, with the 100% daily candle, retracement, profit taking, I mean, that would be expected. That would be pretty common. That'd be what I think an intelligent trader would look for. We may see a backtest of that $36.13 area. I think that would be opportune. It'd be a great place to look for a long. I don't think longing at 62.55 is a great idea after a 100% daily candle. That's a little wild. But that $36 level likely to have a strong position, likely to, or at least likely to provide some kind of strong trading position there. On the weekly, RSI doesn't have that issue. That's excellent. Weekly doesn't have bearish divergence. That's a welcome sight. That does suggest to me that the daily may not be done. We may see more upside. That we may. AMC pushed through $50. That is close to our 1618 extension here. Push through $50. That's a psychological level. We have seen a lot of this lately in markets where our 1618 or our 2 Fibonacci extensions are kind of being ignored on the way up. And then we find that these rallies kind of putter out and they backtest them as support instead of as a take profit target. It's kind of interesting, not something I usually see, but we're seeing it in crypto a lot. And so that is, I'm going to keep my eye out for AMC as it's honestly acting a lot like crypto. You are flying high above your weekly moving averages, man. Look below. Your 200 weekly, that's 4 years of data, still sitting down at $11. You're 6x above that. The 50 and 100 crossing bullishly on the weekly, man. This is insane. This is an insane chart. Now, it does, of course, not doesn't eliminate a possibility of retracement, which I think is likely here at some point. If it goes all the way up to 80 first, fine. But at some point, it's going to need to retrace. It's going to need to refuel its rockets here. And I'd like to see these moving averages come up in that time. You know, pushing back down to $11 to test this weekly support area would not be ideal. Same thing on the daily here. You've really just left everything behind. It's wild. MACD momentum showing insane momentum. Insane. Likely the highest, I mean, not even likely it is, the highest buying momentum AMC has ever seen. This is showing bulls are out in full force. Profit taking does not seem very popular at the moment with AMC. That 4-hour candle kind of closed in decision, so yeah, I could see even just a trickle back to 50 before retesting our highs. We'll see how much power these bulls have, man. I'm not a stock person in general, but if I was, AMC, GME, these are really interesting charts acting very, whoa, I accidentally clicked the Discord link. Speaking of Discord, since I accidentally clicked it, jump in the Discord. Discord's free. It's full of educational content, 24/7 live streams, but really it's the best way to keep up with our daily live streams here. YouTube constantly shadow bans us, as I assume we are right now, as we only have like 280 watching. I don't know what's going on with this. This is 2 days in a row where our numbers are really low. Really low. I don't know. It's not your guys' faults. You guys rock. But highly unusual. We were hitting way higher numbers consistently, I would say, for the last 4 or 5 months. And now it seems in the last 2-ish days, things have settled down. May has been a rough month, guys. It was a rough month. We're in June to the moon, man. Let's see it go. I think really that's all I have to say about AMC. This chart, when something pumps like this, it's kind of like when we look at it in crypto. Well, what TA is there to be done when you just have a giant green dildo? And the answer is really none. It's either going to keep going up or it's going to retrace. And that sounds stupid to say, but that is the reality of it. You know, when you have a straight green candle out of like this, your indicators are all just going to be jammed to the top. All of your oscillators jammed to the top of their respective charts, like we see here on both RSI and MACD. And so they won't really have useful information for us, unfortunately. I know. I wish they did. At this point, if you'd like to enter AMC, I really would recommend looking for a pullback, maybe at that $50 level, maybe at 36. I don't think you're likely to see these lower lows down here at 10 to 15-ish anytime soon. The momentum of this rally seems unwavering, in my opinion. Just unwavering. Wild. All right. AMC, check. Something I wanted to look at. Yesterday's live stream. I don't know who tipped for it. I'd never looked at this chart, Uno. We took a look at it yesterday. Wow. Wow, Uno, wow. It was trading down here. I think we saw it live go to 35 cents. That was our 0.5. I was looking for the 618 down here. You can see I had a little trade set up, placed at 33.71 cents. But basically the gist of this chart was you have resistance at 44 cents. If you break 44 cents, you're looking to retest the high at 60. Done. Well, last night, broke 44 cents, consolidated, flew up to 60 cents, and now looks to be reaching up to our measured move target here, $1.12. Already has pushed all the way up, what, to 95 cents, 96 cents? It's a 2x in 24 hours. Welcome to crypto. Now you guys probably understand why I say 2x is really not a huge thing, not a huge deal in crypto, despite it being world-breaking gains in stocks. In crypto, 2x can happen in 24 hours. UnoRe here, an example of that. Insane. RSI is coming down on the 15-minute. This is a small chart, which is suggesting bearish divergence, but on the 1 hour, we can see here a double top in RSI. This is called a Class C bearish divergence. Ooh, getting technical. And what that signals to us is a weak bearish sign, a weak reversal sign. So we would expect that since price has paused here, we're likely to see some kind of retracement, but it's unlikely to be rally ending, as that is not a strong bearish divergence. So 12-hour we can't even look at. Not enough chart data. 6-hour RSI is just up. So not a lot to look at, unfortunately. I'm not a huge... I don't typically recommend trading charts with small histories like this. However, when there's an edge, if I would have, if we would have gotten this fill at 33.71 cents, this would have been a great trade. We identified what little support does exist here. An interesting price pivot point. It just didn't enter. And all day, every day, I will take a missed trade over entering poorly. So I just have to live with it. But congrats to the Uno fans out there, guys. Hope you're killing it. Thank you for tweeting at me yesterday. I appreciate it. Starty Man, that's my dude. Tweeting out. Views way down. Thank you, my friend. I'll retweet you. Might as well throw this out here. So I am doing a small giveaway on Twitter. If you have a Twitter account, I'll link this. Probably be the last day that I link it. There is the link. Just giving away 20 bucks of Bitcoin. All you have to do is retweet it and be following. So one click for a potential $20 in Bitcoin. Not a bad deal. So let's take a peek at the Bitcoins. Almost forgot to like Kua. What are you doing? I'm just playing. Streamlabs is being weird again, as it is every day, I guess. It's never a normal day on Streamlabs, dude. Because I see a super chat, but it doesn't see it. Thanks, Streamlabs. You're the best. I do love Streamlabs, but for some reason it's been really goofy the last few days. So it seems we have some subscribers during our live. I Want a Yogurt. Christopher Johnston. Melhow Now, Derek 2, Jamal J, and Fardeen Siddiquil. Thank you guys for subscribing. I appreciate you. Welcome to our fam. Great to have you. Anyone else out there who hasn't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that button. Join us in our technical analysis journey through the charts. That's right. Hey, now we're showing up in some search. I don't know what's happening, man. I think what happened is, if you guys were here through May, my partner, my girlfriend, had eye surgery. Nothing serious, don't worry. Well, I mean, all surgery serious, but I had to take care of her pretty much all month, and there was a bunch of kind of outlier circumstances where we just didn't. It was our lowest activity stream month. Maybe we're getting paid back for that now. Maybe YouTube is paying us back for not being consistent and active. However, don't worry, because we're getting back to that consistency. Actually, I'm going to release at some point this week a streaming schedule. I think that's really what we're missing here. You guys probably would appreciate it too. It's on me. I've just been crappy about it. But it's time to set it in stone so you guys know when we're going to go live, so we can avoid 270 watching. type of days. But look forward for that. Look forward to that. Keep an IP man, I can't speak. I'll definitely announce it in Discord. So if you're in Discord, doubly reason to be there. Oscar Boado. Thoughts on Vchain? Nice. Also looking forward to joining the patron scene on my Discord as Bruno. What's up, man? Thank you for the 10. I appreciate the support. We can definitely take a look at Vchain here. I wanted to take a look at Bitcoin. However, when in Rome, yeah, we'll take a look at it. Raja Zishan and Dusty L, welcome. Thanks for subscribing, guys. Real quick, Bitcoin yesterday, we were live. We saw this double bottom here on the 15-minute. We were looking for that golden retrace, 36,752. All the rest is pretty much history. Bitcoin reaching up to 38,240 today. Finally showing some signs of life, which is more than welcomed. More than welcomed. It has been boring. I don't blame, like, honestly, I don't blame anybody, you know, even if YouTube isn't punishing us. I don't blame anybody for not watching right now. The last month has been rough. You know, we sold off. It was a spooky big sell-off, and then it's been like 13 days of really sideways trading. Not super interesting. Nice weather is hitting everywhere. Yeah, if you want to be outside, be outside. It's fair. I'll be here. You can come join, but looks like our vet trade was stopped out. And actually, I'm not going to get rid of that. I don't like to hide my failures, so we're just going to take this off the daily so it doesn't distract us. And lower low. Huh. Interesting. Let's get rid of some of this. All right. So VET I'm guessing you wanted to see the dollar pair. So that's what we'll look at here. VET is in a tricky spot, actually. I haven't looked at this in a few days. None of my alerts have gone off or anything. Speaking of which, let me just throw some on here. It's in a tricky spot. You can see its price action in USD, clearly reflective of Bitcoin's. Definitely following Bitcoin's here. Very similar chart. Sell off. Now we have a series of lower highs and higher lows, just consolidation. But we do have some technical differences. We do. First off, we see that the 200 daily, the green moving average below, clearly acting as support. Two touches to it, we see very strong buying at those levels, or at that level. Down here on the 19th of May and the 23rd, buyers come in, push the price back up. So unlike Bitcoin, which is currently hovering below its 200 daily moving average, VET USD is not. That's a little more bullish. It's a little more bullish than Bitcoin. We're seeing that actually across the space in many charts. However, seemingly kind of in the same position as Bitcoin, but a different moving average, the 100 daily acting as resistance here. 1, 2, 3, now 4 times on the daily being tested. The 20 has come down to cross bearishly with the 100. However, price doesn't seem to really care. Price not giving up supports, not making lower lows, despite that death cross looking actually pretty solid. So this is similar to the setup we saw on Doge earlier. What I'd like to see is VET close above the 20. You can see, unfortunately, this cross is happening right at resistance. It's a 12.85 cents. We can see that here on the daily as it was back tested very cleanly before setting new all-time highs. And I believe that is like a monthly. Let's zoom it out quick. It's probably a weekly. I don't know what it is. Where did this come from? Anyway, not really matter. Resistance level being respected there. So what I'd like to see on VET is a push above 12.85 cents. And I'd like to see a daily close above 12.8 cents. And then we can start looking for our upside targets. We can start looking higher. We need to, on both Bitcoin and VET, we need to see higher highs. Until we see higher highs at all, we're still in a downtrend. I know. It's still June to the moon. Don't worry. But until we see that, there's really very little argument for an uptrend. I think macro, you zoom out, it's an uptrend. But zoomed in, talking short time frame or short timeline, maybe days to weeks, I mean, until we have some kind of higher highs, man, we are really just trending down slowly. Our 618 seems to be right here, right where we've already tested, similar to that resistance and the 100. Our 786 up here near the 50, right about where this resistance would be. So yeah, I'm looking for a close on VET on the daily above the 20, so above 12.85 cents. And I'm not going to say if, I'm going to say when we get it. May not happen today. It may take time. We may see more higher lows, etc. It's probably going to depend on Bitcoin. But when we get it, 17 cents is your obvious upside target. Below, where might we look to enter? So we saw two hits to that 200 moving average, and now we see the 200 daily is moving up to just under 8 cents at 7.9 cents. It's coming to meet that support. When we see this happen, usually that suggests that that support would be strengthened, same as resistance, unfortunately, which is happening right here with the 100. We have a enhanced resistance and an enhanced support below us. So to see VET fail to close above the 20 and come back down to 8 cents would be very reasonable. Be very reasonable. I don't know what this blue line is either. I'm going to get rid of it. It'd be very reasonable, and in fact, likely the play. You know, our VET trade did get stopped out, placed live. It did get stopped out. But we may have a sweeter opportunity to go long from lower. So I'd be looking to take it from that 8 cents. Stop loss. I think logically we can look to that wick on May 23rd. And then we can look to take profit at resistance at that 17 cents. Let's say 5.8 risk to reward. 112% to the upside with a 19% downside. Of course, this could be played more closely with a tighter stop below the 200. However, we see that both times it's been tested, we've had deep wicks. That's why I'm aiming more to stop below the previous wick on the 23rd, 6.5 cents. So let's move that back. 5.8 to 1. That's plenty of risk to reward. It's wonderful. Just so wonderful. What's up? QT has become a member. Welcome, QT. Good to have you. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
What's up, Crypto Rex? Maybe my ratings are low because are the plain tees start wearing printed shirts. Okay. I don't know if that's the reason. If this shirt is the reason, then I feel sad because I kind of like these shirts. I don't know what's going on. I really do think it's just because we didn't consistently create content last month. That's my best guess. So let's take a look at the corn. The corn doing spicy stuff. Finally showing some sign of strength. I mean, geez, showing some sign of strength. Let's zoom it out. Let's take a look at the week that we're progressing on. Current weekly higher low, lower high. 4 days to go. We have a clean body here. Closing at 37.7. Though not like the best, awesomest moon signal. Wouldn't be a terrible close. You know, 2 greens in a row. Typically, uptrends do start with smaller green candles. Typically. I'm still expecting the same things I was expecting. My plan has not changed. So on the weekly, and this is also true on the daily, we bottomed out on the weekly and daily Bollinger Bands. So we see, it's very, very, very small gap. On the daily, I believe there's no gap. Yep, boom, sliced below. Typically, when we see this, as we can see here in April, here in March, here in February, here in January, almost here in December, in October, typically when you hit the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, you look for movements to either the middle, being the 20 moving average, or the top of the bands. So to hit both the weekly and the daily at the same time, pretty good signal to me. I'm still looking for that same bounce that we were looking for on the 19th of May when we sold off. And that weekly actually hasn't moved. What we have seen is the 20 moving average, instead of pointing down, which I would interpret as more bearish, it's moved sideways. Now that does certainly does imply that there's going to be sellers. There's going to be profit taking at this level. That's 48.5. I don't know why that changed. There, the chart I was looking at yesterday had it like 45, and I have no idea why. 48.5, 48.6. This is a great target. This is a great target. If you bought the top and you watched it fall and now you're freaking out, but you didn't panic sell, pat yourself on the back first. But after that, will you regret this decision in the future? History would say yes. It would say yes. But if you haven't panic sold at 30K, I believe there is a very high probability that you can get out of a bad position at 48.6 right there. I do believe it even lines up with our retracement. Boom. There it is. Aren't charts magic? Aren't charts just magic, dude? The 618, we take the highest value, the lowest value, and there the golden retrace is, just sitting at the 20 weekly. Just happens to be the average of the last 20 weekly candles. Okay. For me, that is even more compelling. Even more compelling. Confidence boosted that we are going to look to backtest this. Problem being, and I was going to release a short video about this today. I probably still will. Problem being is, if selling pressure is strong enough at 48.6, then we have issues. Then we have some spooky issues. Rejecting the 20 on the weekly is not a good sign for a bull run. No other way to cut it. No other way to cut it. What you could see is a move to the 20 and then a higher low. That wouldn't be terrible. Still ugly. This chart's still ugly. But if you hit the 20, if we hit the 20 moving average on the weekly and we sell off and we see 30K again, we just got to pray that we get a double bottom. If it's not a double bottom or a higher low, the targets can get very, very ugly very fast. I think it even looks pretty, I think visually it's pretty easy to see here. If I get rid of this and get rid of this, I think it's pretty easy to see here that that can become a very ugly macro head and shoulders. Now, where might that bring us to? We've gone over the targets multiple times, so I'm not going to go through all of them again. But let's place a trend line here, and let's see what returning to the mean would look like. Right where we are. Awesome. That's not really what I thought. Okay. Cool. I guess we've already returned to the mean here. Man. Jeez. This is a sketchy spot. This is a sketchy spot, guys. It's like you're back to the mean. You've returned to what would be, I guess, a healthier climb here, more linear. Now you're below the 20. You reject that 20 and you break down and things can get really ugly. So what we're going to have to do actually is look at it this way. Let's use our retracement to the downside. We can see that actually we've only just begun to retrace in terms of a Fibonacci retracement. Right here, this is the 236. This is the most shallow retrace. Typically a bounce here can be very bullish. Shows that there actually wasn't as many sellers as there might have seemed. Okay, get them on logarithmic. But if we reject from the 20, we see lower than 30. We got to look at our deeper retracements here, and this is where it gets spooky. The 382, sitting at 22,000. The 618, our bread and butter, sitting at 11.3. These would be very, very low levels. They would be uncharacteristic of Bitcoin in a bull run. So I think history would say these are unlikely, but they're certainly not impossible. Certainly not impossible. I'm not sure what that would mean for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's network has no concept of price. It doesn't stop because the price changes. Bitcoin just really can't die, can't be killed. As long as someone's maintaining the network, it's alive. So what does it mean for it? I don't know. I really don't know. It could mean that the cycles that we're accustomed to, 4-year cycle, 1-year bull, 3-year bear, basically, may be changing. If we see a sell-off from there, if we paint what looks like maybe the ugliest head and shoulders pattern ever, it could be really ugly. Man, I'm not even sure where to look. Like, none of those targets seem reasonable. Wouldn't that be frightening? Huh. Yeah. I think actually the 200 weekly might give us some clues. 200 weekly. This has been a premium buying spot throughout the history of Bitcoin. This is Coinbase Pro, so it doesn't have all of the data. But if you look at BLX, you look at longer charts, you'll see that the 200 was also almost perfectly tested at the start of the previous run. It's actually an arrow there. It's not here, but it looks something like that. It was only hit twice. It wasn't hit at all during the bull run, and then only returned to it at the bottom of the bear market in the last cycle. So I guess that's what we have to kind of go with is if we do get this awful looking pattern, if we do get this head and shoulders and the rejection on the 20, maybe the 200 weekly is what we're looking for. I still don't think it's probable, but I'll say this. I will buy any test of the 200 weekly on Bitcoin. This is just me, not financial advice. Any test. Whenever, because it will eventually. Whenever it is, whether it's this year, next year, 10 years, whenever Bitcoin returns to its 200 weekly, I will be a buyer. I will absolutely be a buyer. That is premium value. You can see it gave you 3,100 in 2018. It gave you 3,400 in 2019. And then it gave you what? 5.5 thousand here in March 2020. Right now, hovering at 13,000. Certainly a drop of that caliber would take time. It'd actually be better if it was fast, but certainly it would take time. And what we're seeing actually is the 200 weekly is quickly approaching a very important level here, that 13.8. When that 200 weekly crosses 13.8, oh, I'm going to be watching. That's going to be interesting. Monthly resistance that was never back tested as support left a lot of buyers empty-handed into this bull run here. One day at a time, everybody. One day at a time. Hey, that's spicy. What moving averages are these? Well, I just saw this for the first time. On the hourly, 200 and 300 moving averages are kissing. What we don't want to see then is a return below where they're kissing at. So let's define that. We don't want to see today price trade below 36.9. That's a pretty solid target anyway. That may be used as kind of a stop loss scalping position. I'd say it's probable to see price move down there to test this cross. But if it holds, though it is only on the hour, those are pretty big moving averages. The 300 hourly is what? 24.10. Like the 10 daily or something. I don't know. Close. RSI. Same as what we saw in Uno. This is on a smaller, same time frame. That weak bearish divergence here with a double top in RSI. So yeah, coming back down here to 37. This may be the probable move. But what we want to see is that level hold. We don't want to see it sell off, drop out, set new lows, because then we're going to have one of our favorite patterns. So we're going to have the bearish version, which is the bearish kissing. So if we see price sell off below, that is likely what we would see. Something like this. That would be ugly. Yeah, that looks too good. I just spooked myself. We have these rounded tops that are leading to selling. And then that would be ugly. That would be similar pattern. I don't like that. No, it hasn't happened yet. We'll see. We shall see, everyone. Either way, as I said, Bitcoin not dead. Never gonna die. Honestly, not in our lifetime. Can't guarantee anything, but I can all but guarantee that. Let's see. Actually, where is our daily close target? Up here. 37,275. Okay, yeah. Close on today's daily would be another bullish engulfing daily candle. I know it's hard to get excited about them at this point. We had what? 1, 2, almost 3. So this would be 4 or 3. They just haven't followed through. That 200 has been too strong. But I could say that. Yeah, I could say this. If we do close bullish engulfing today, absolutely looking for a test of that 200. If not higher, maybe that's when we start running for the 20. But that's actually a really high probability. So yeah, close above 37.2 would set my sights on 41.4-ish, depending on how long that takes. Doesn't have to get there quickly. But man, that would be a third test of the 200. Each time is weakening it as resistance. It's making it weaker, not stronger when it tests it. So on the third attempt, a higher probability of moving through it. That might even line up well. What I'd like to see ideally is that close today, a move towards the 200, some kind of consolidation, a break to the 44 or 45 level, a pullback onto the 200 again, and I want to see this spaced out over multiple days. Still lower highs, higher lows, but it's holding solid above the 200 daily, so that, I think that this is showing us the market took a beating, but is getting back up for more. It is not defeated. We look at total on the daily here. This is Market Cipher. I like this indicator. This is Market Cipher. We're looking at the VWAP here. We see a higher high on VWAP with a lower high on our momentum oscillators here. We see money flow reach down super low. This is threatening. But if we zoom out, we see money flow has really never gone negative on this run. As soon as 2020 started, it turned green. We had very small blips of negative money flow. Money flow, guys, is exactly what it sounds like. Is money flowing into the market or flowing out of the market? Is it being extracted or is it being pushed in? We see that it's pretty much only been pushed in, jammed in. I don't like these lower lows here on money flow, but this higher VWAP with our momentum rolling over, even if Bitcoin doesn't push up to that 20 weekly right now, total is looking to do that. Total is looking to push up. We don't know. It could be a lower high. That would be bearish. Could be a double top. That would be okay. Kind of bearish. Hopefully it is a strong impulse. I want to see it higher than our swing high in May. That will set up the total crypto market cap in a really solid place. Really solid place looking forward, as I do have pretty high expectations for July. I think July is going to be a good month for crypto. Also different from Bitcoin, total already trading above its 20 weekly here. This is a good sign. We can look into total and get clues for Bitcoin. Sadly, we have 4 days to go. I wish we could just freeze time or time warp and price not move and close this weekly right here. That'd be amazing. In 4 days, we could easily sell back below. That would be negative. That would not be good. But currently trading above, so total is more bullish than Bitcoin. More bullish than Bitcoin. A lot of things